8. Jah is another name of God, which is mentioned in Psalms, Psalm 68:4 and 6, Isaiah 26:4. Though it may be only an abbreviation or contraction of the word Jehovah, and may signify the same according to Soxius, it comes from the Hebrew word in Jeremiah 10:7 and signifies decency or what is meet and becoming. 9. Ejah is a name God gave as a name of his to Moses when he sent him to the children of Israel, and is translated I am that I am, Exodus 3:13 and 14, and may be rendered I shall be what I shall be, and what I have been. So the Jews interpret it. I am he that was, I am he that is now, I am he that shall be to come, or shall be. It seems to be the same signification with Jehovah, and to be derived from the same word, and it expresses of the same thing, of the being and existence of God, of his eternity, immutability, and of his faithfulness in performing his promises. Our Lord has a manifest respect unto it, when he says, Before Abraham was, I am. John 8, verse 58. Hilarious renders it, I remain, that is, always the same. 10. The names of God in the New Testament are two. The one is usually rendered Lord, and the other God. The first is derived either from the Hebrew word to be, and signifies the same as Jehovah, to which it commonly answers and denotes the essence of being of God, and from the other Greek word, power and authority, and agrees with God, who has a sovereign power and authority over all creatures, having a property in them, by virtue of his creation of them. It is generally used of Christ, who is Lord of all, Acts 9 verse 36, 1 Corinthians 8:6, Ephesians 4:4. The etymology of the word God is very different. It is either from a word which signifies to run, or from one that signifies to heat, or from one that signifies to see, which seems to be calculated by the heathen for the sun, the object of their worship, applicable to it, for its constant course, being the fountain of light and heat, and seeing all things as they affirm. Though each of them may be applied to the true God, who runs to the assistance of his people in distress, 1 Chronicles 16:9, Psalm 56:1, is light itself, the Father of lights, and a consuming fire, 1 John 1:5, James 1:17, Hebrews 12:29, and sees all men, their ways, their works, and even their hearts, and the thoughts of them, Job 34:21-22, 1 Samuel 16:7. Some derive it from the word which signifies to dispose, and which agrees with God, who disposes of and orders all things in the armies of heaven among the inhabitants of the earth, according to the counsel of his will, and to answer the purposes of his own glory and the good of his creatures. Though perhaps it may be best of all to derive it from the words which signifies fear, and so describes God as the object of fear and reverence, who is not only to be stood in awe of by all the inhabitants of the earth, Psalm 33 verse 8, but more especially is to be feared with a godly fear by his saints, Psalm 87 verse 7, Hebrews 12 verse 28, and fear sometimes takes in the whole worship of God, both internal and external, so the true God, in distinction from others, is called the fear, that is, the God of Isaac, Genesis 31:53, and the Hebrew word fear is sometimes used in the Targum for the true God, as it sometimes is of idols. From all these names of God, we learn that God is the eternal, immutable, and almighty being, the being of beings, self-existent, self-sufficient, and the object of religious worship and adoration.